Welcome to 5-Minute Bedtime Stories, brought to you by TaleBot, your child's AI storyteller. Want to create a bedtime story for your child? Visit talebotai.com/create. Now, let's sit back and enjoy the story.
Johanna's amazing adventure through time. A special bedtime story for Johanna. Once upon a time, in a cozy little house at the edge of a magnificent forest, lived a curious and imaginative 4-year-old girl named Johanna. Johanna had a heart full of wonder and a mind bursting with questions. Every night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Johanna's parents would tuck her into bed and tell her the most enchanting bedtime stories. But tonight, Johanna had a different idea. "Mommy, Daddy," Johanna exclaimed, her eyes twinkling with excitement, "instead of a story, can I go on an adventure tonight?" A real adventure. Her parents exchanged glances, pleasantly surprised by their daughter's request. With a twinkle in their eyes, they nodded and said, "All right, Johanna, tonight you shall embark on an extraordinary adventure through time." Johanna clapped her hands with delight and hopped out of bed, ready for her thrilling journey. She stepped onto a magical carpet that lay beside her bed, and as soon as she did, it began to hover in the air. With a wave of her hand, the carpet whisked her away, soaring high above the treetops and into a sky full of shimmering stars. As her carpet descended, Johanna found herself in a bustling kitchen where a chef named George was hard at work. George had been preparing a special dish for his customers when suddenly, a grumpy man walked in. The man took a bite of George's crispy fried potatoes and complained that they were not thin enough. Furious, George sliced the potatoes as thin as he possibly could, and voila! He accidentally created the very first batch of potato chips. Johanna giggled with delight as she watched the chef's mistake turn into a delicious snack loved by people all around the world. She munched on a chip and continued her adventure. In the next moment, Johanna found herself in a grand hall, where a man named John Montague, the Earl of Sandwich, was engaged in a thrilling game of cards. The Earl loved gambling, and he was so engrossed in his game that he did not want to leave the table to eat. So, he asked his servant to bring him some meat placed between 2 slices of bread. And just like that, the sandwich was born. Johanna's tummy rumbled with hunger, and she took a bite of a sandwich that appeared magically before her. She marveled at how a simple mistake led to such a delicious invention enjoyed by people all over the world. But the adventure didn't end there. Johanna's carpet whisked her away once again, this time landing her in a laboratory. In front of her stood a scientist named Dr. John Pemberton, who was trying to create a medicine to help people feel better. He mixed various ingredients together, and in the process, accidentally created a sweet and fizzy drink we now know as Coca-Cola. Johanna sipped on a glass of the magical soda, feeling the bubbles tickle her nose. She marveled at how a scientific mishap turned into a worldwide favorite. As Johanna's adventure continued, she visited many more extraordinary places. She discovered that Silly Putty, a squishy and stretchy toy, was created accidentally by a scientist named James Wright. She learned that X-rays, which help doctors see inside our bodies, were discovered by Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen while experimenting with electricity. With each new discovery, Johanna's eyes widened and her imagination soared. She realized that sometimes, the best things in life come from unexpected mishaps and serendipitous accidents. As the night grew darker, Johanna's carpet gently guided her back home. She found herself back in her cozy bed, surrounded by her favorite stuffed animals. Her parents tucked her in, their faces shining with pride and love. "Johanna," her parents whispered, "remember that mistakes can sometimes lead to the greatest discoveries in the world. Just like in your adventure tonight, never be afraid to try new things and learn from your mistakes. You are capable of amazing things." Johanna smiled and snuggled into her soft blanket, feeling the warmth of her parents' love embracing her. With dreams of incredible discoveries swirling in her mind, she closed her eyes, ready to drift off into a peaceful slumber. And as the stars twinkled outside her window, Johanna fell asleep, knowing that her bedtime adventure had taught her an important lesson, that even mistakes can lead to extraordinary journeys and wonderful discoveries. The end.
Thank you for joining us on this enchanting journey. If you enjoyed tonight's story, remember, the magic doesn't have to end here. Craft your own adventure with TaleBot by visiting talebotai.com/create. And as a special treat, Use the coupon code TALE99 at checkout to get your bedtime story for just 99 cents, instead of the usual $2.99. Sweet dreams, and until our next tale.